Hello and welcome back to the Bald and Beardiful. I'm Chris.
I'm Bryce.
I'm still bald.
And I am always beautiful. And, with me coming to Arizona and seeing the family for 2 weeks, you would have thought we would have had an episode together.
Yeah, something like that. But, things, science, my failed biology.
Yeah, pretty much. What was it? The night I got there, I found out? Yeah, like the day I came in was when it happened. I get a call from your wife who never calls me, never texts me. Honestly, at the time, I probably should have been like, oh my God, Chris died. But it didn't even cross my mind until I answered the phone. Chris went to the hospital and then had it's not. Yeah, I guess it is kind of emergency surgery, technically, right?
Yeah, because you can't plan it.
So it was kind of emergency surgery, and he was out within 24 hours.
I'm resilient like that.
Yeah, in, out. I mean, you left missing a piece of yourself.
Yeah.
Too bad they didn't leave the fat.
They should have. Yeah, I should have had him go and do some liposuction while they were in there. But yes, had the appendix removed. Had to go in the middle. Well, I guess it's early morning, not necessarily middle of the night.
It was like what? It was like 4 or something.
It's like 4 in the morning. Go to the emergency room. I almost killed a guy in the emergency room. So I mean, he actually probably would have survived. But like, I'm sitting there in pain. Obviously, like if anybody's had their appendix like out or had appendix issues. Mine didn't rupture. I went to the hospital prior to rupturing, but I'm sitting there in pain, not comfortable, like in the waiting area. Have to be by myself because of stupid COVID restrictions. My wife couldn't be there with me, and some douche canoe is like asleep on one of the little benches, like is like curled up on there's nowhere place to like lay down. It's not meant to lay down, right? It's like a little 2-person bench. It's meant to seat 2 people, right? It's curled up on this bench, and his phone keeps going off. What doesn't even like turn it on silent, doesn't do anything, just phone keeps going off. Alerts, phone calls, I don't know. But I remember I texted my wife, I was like, do you think they'd kick me out if I throw a chair at this guy? And I considered it. I 100% considered throwing a chair at him because I'm not comfortable.
Wake up, get your phone.
And there's zero reason for your phone to be going off in the waiting room of the emergency room, right?
Right.
So I finally get admitted. And then because of once again, they have to distance everybody. I'm in a hallway bed, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a bed in the hallway.
So you're getting the royal treatment all day.
Oh yeah. So I'm in the hall, and then they obviously they know what's going on. I've been admitted, and they're like, okay, we need to get a doctor to see you right away because if my appendix does burst, I can die. Right. So it's
right.
I went early on, but it's still something. It's still serious. And then as I'm hanging out in the hallway, they bring some guy in who's losing his mind. Talking about back pain and whatever, but he's yelling and just making a scene. This is great. And they're like, oh, can you do this? Can you do that? They're poking at me and prodding at me. And I'm and he's I'm trying to have he's having a conversation with me, and then he poked me in the middle of my answer. I don't know if he was just trying to see my reaction. If he poked me.
You wanted to see if you were faking it for sure.
Yeah, because I'm faking it, right? Because I really want to be. I guess people, maybe somebody does, but I don't think anybody really wants to.
No, doctors do have to deal with people that come in for meds.
I wasn't asking for meds. I really wasn't. He wasn't even asking for anything. I was just I have an issue. You need to fix me. Right. So then they move me, right? And then they're like, all right, you're not really a good option for a hallway bed, and we need to move this guy and whatever. So then I get moved into one of the curtained off areas, and I'm 2 up, right? There's 2 larger reclining chairs that almost go all the way back. You get pretty comfortable, and they have the IVs, and they throw me and this other dude with similar symptoms in these chairs, hook us up to some IVs, and then just leave us there. They're like, the doctor will be back later, whatever. then the doctor comes and like tells us both that he's sending us up that he's going to send us up to imagery. But the other guy got admitted before I did, so he goes up first, and then they take me, and then they sit me right back down, and then like I don't know. I went to sleep for a little bit. I was probably a couple hours go by, at least a couple hours go by, and then the doctor, the initial like admitting doctor, comes up and goes, "Guess what?" I'm like, "I have appendicitis," and he goes, "Do you have a doctorate?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
I just know where the pain is.
Yeah.
And not only that, my wife did this last month.
That was the other thing too. I made sure like when I was getting scans and stuff like that I was like, hey, like this happened to my wife when she had her gallbladder out. She also had to have her appendix out a week ago. And within a week of having her gallbladder removed, and they're like, that doesn't happen. I'm like, but it does.
Yeah. No, like the biggest bummer is that you left your 2-for-1 coupon at home.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, they ended up moving me eventually, and then well, after I saw the surgeon, right? The on-call surgeon comes in, and you could tell he was like trying to figure out when he needed to schedule me. And since they couldn't move me into a room, they didn't have a room for me. He had to like do the examination in this like reclining chair, like to try and like see how I was. And he was like kind of poking around. He goes, "Okay, like you seem okay, blah 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 blah." And then he like pokes like where my appendix is, and I nearly leapt out of the chair and over him, like just from like laying down to like vertical out of like up and over him, like leap out of the chair because he poked me. And he goes, "Oh, we'll get you on the schedule right away." And then they tell me like I'm supposed to be scheduled for surgery at like 7:00 at night, and I've already been here since like 4:00 in the morning, right? So I've been there for 12 hours or not quite 12 hours. I haven't been there for 12 hours yet. I've probably been there for at least 10. Right.
That little bit of him poking you and jumping out. Just remind me of a short little story. Elementary school. You know, you go to the dentist. The kids are scared of the dentist. Whatever. I have a loose tooth. I get in the chair. The doctor comes in and just touches the tooth, and I'm like, so he goes, "I haven't done anything yet." I'm like, "I have a loose tooth." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Anyway, go on. Keep going.
Either way. And so then they get me on the schedule, and then they move me into an overflow area, which is like this area that's like super quiet, like nobody's there. I'm like, interesting. There's like 4 nurses hanging out at like a nurse's station. No real patients that I saw, but then again, I don't know. They had given me drugs at this point, so I'm kind of high and still in pain.
They kept you at a sight distance. They didn't want anyone looking at your ugly mug.
So pretty much. They don't, and they send me off into this room and like get me comfortable, and they're like, "All right, like, we're going to try and take you to surgery before we admit you into like the other part of the hospital," right? Because the emergency room is separate from the other part. And I'm like, "All right, cool." And then just as I get comfortable, they like come bursting in, turn the lights on, because I turn the lights had been turned out, turn the lights on, and they go, "Hey, guess what? We're taking you up to pre-op now." I'm like, "Okay."
Thanks.
Like, thanks. And so then they get me up to the pre-op. I'm thinking like, okay, so I texting the wife, and I'm thinking with her experience, like she was in pre-op for like an hour and a half. Something, I think one of the times she was in there for pre-op for like 3 hours, I want to say, because she kept getting bumped. Her surgery kept getting bumped for other priorities, like gunshot wounds, things like that, minor stuff.
Yeah. Nothing that life-threatening. It was just about a flesh wound.
Yes. And so then I get up there, and they're like, "All right, we're going to prep you, like get you all like in a gown," because I wasn't in a gown. I was selling my street clothes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we'll get you in a gown. We'll get you ready. We'll ask you some questions, and we'll try to get as much as the paperwork and stuff done so that we can just kind of streamline it. So then as soon as like we're available.
They're in turn and burn time. You think they're working for tips.
Yep, pretty much. So then they send me to the bathroom to like strip down out of like everything and just come out in the gown. And I come out of the bathroom and start walking in the hallway, and there's like 6 people in my little like area. Like, it's not a room that you're in, right? It's just a little like cutout.
Yeah, the hallway. I remember the hallway.
Well, I'm not in the hallway anymore at this point, but either way, like you don't have a private room in pre-op. You like, they're just little like cutouts, like almost like a half a cube, but like, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Gotcha.
And then they're waiting for me. I'm like, "What's going on?" Like afraid that some sort of emergency happened. And I'm like, I'm ready. I'm about to die. Right. And they're like, "Oh no, like good news. A spot opened up. We have a small window, so we're going to like double team everything. So while they're prepping you for surgery, we're going to ask you all these questions and do all these other things as far as admin is concerned and whatnot." So like I'm being poked, prodded, strapped in, censored up. They're getting me to sign things. I'm not really sure all of what I signed at the time, but I'm like, I don't have much of a choice. And then a few times they like repeated stuff. I'm like, wait, didn't we just go over this? I'm like, I'm not that like doped up. Like, you didn't really give me the good stuff. Like, you gave me enough to like keep me, from dying of pain, right?
But still coherent.
Yeah, and I didn't. By the time that happened, I didn't have enough time to text Sam that I was going into surgery. Like, the next message she got, a notification she got, was from the post-op nurse that I was out of surgery. And she went,
I think I was there when she got that text. It was just like, Chris is out of surgery. Like, he went into surgery? She was like, yeah, I didn't know that either.
I didn't have time. I literally had no time to like get my stuff, text her or anything. They're just like, ready, steady, go. And even like once we got into like the surgery piece of it, like it was ready, steady, go. Like, they didn't even give me like any sort of like nitrous or anything to like kind of make me relax or whatever. Total old school like anesthesiologist, older dude. I was probably his 3,000 something, right? As far as I'm concerned, just no BS. He goes, hey, all right, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna add this line into your IV. I'm gonna put some stuff in there. You're gonna go to sleep. You're gonna wake up in post-op. Ready, steady, go. And then I woke up later.
I think I remember texting you that day thinking, I wonder if are we recording today? I haven't heard from you. What's going on? And then I get the call from Sam, like, oh, well, that kind of ruins things, doesn't it?
Yeah, as far as that goes. Oh, but the other thing I almost forgot, I almost missed. The weirdest thing, though, is because they do with the imagery that they did, because they didn't do an ultrasound, they did a CT. They don't have to with everything, but with mine, they did it with contrast. So they actually inject you with like a chemical dye, whatever. But it makes you warm all over, and it's weird. The way the guy described it is like it feels like you've peed on yourself, like, but all over. I'm like, yeah, kind of. And I'm like, interesting analogy. I understand why, but what you do in your spare time is your own, buddy.
Honestly, my funniest part of that whole ordeal was being able to get you home and you showing us like where they kind of incisioned and where they prepped you. They like, cause you're a little hairy. You don't.
Nobody would ever guess that.
Yeah, you don't go full shave. You keep a good body hair. So when they shaved you, they gave you like a hairy midriff. Like the belly was gone, but they kept like the top half of the belly in your chest. It just made it look really funny.
Yeah, it was like it was a naked cummerbund essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that was a good time. So because of that, and then the holiday, and then I wasn't really 100% anyway, because it does, even though it is an outpatient surgery, it does take you a little bit to get back to 100%, right?
Yeah.
So we're behind a few.
So we didn't get to do the results for week 10. We didn't do picks for week 11 or results for week 11, and then I guess we didn't do 12 either. Oh no, we didn't. Yeah, so we didn't do results for 10
or 11.
Because we did do picks for 10 in before week 9, or on week 9. So yeah, we're gonna go over the points we had for week 10, week 11, and week 12 that just ended. And then we'll go into our week 13 picks.
All right. So let's get to it.
And it's been a roller coaster for sure, because when we left off, I was winning our year-end bet. And
you were ahead. I wouldn't say quite winning. You were in the lead.
I was ahead by 3. I call that winning.
Anyway, you were ahead.
Currently winning, in the lead, whatever you want to say. Yes.
You don't score until you score. Remember that.
Who are you quoting?
That's from American Pie. Not the first one. I think it's from American Wedding. I think it's Stifler from American Wedding. And he's coaching his lacrosse team. You don't score.
It sounded so familiar. I'm like, that's a quote from somewhere. It definitely is.
But it totally makes sense. It is philosophy for life. Don't count. It's the whole like, don't count your chickens before you hatch. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't count the score until you score.
The last 2 weeks are proof of that. Oh my God.
All right, so getting into our quick recap of where we ended. Week 10 Didn't end up horribly. We both ended up positive. That was the week you had that flip, right? Where you were looking like you were going to podium, and then you got railroaded by New Orleans.
Oh, again, yeah. I think I was top 2 for a while. No, was that week? I thought that was prior. No, I think that one was prior.
Was that week 9?
I'm about to look at the results right now. Of course, you kicked me out, and I have to re-sign in again.
Either way, so
thank you,
both
Cover
of us
5.
positive on week 10, but you, continue to extend your lead as far as week over week of winnings, right?
Yes.
Baltimore. Oh, yeah, that was when Baltimore decided to lose to New England for no apparent reason.
The New Orleans thing happened week 9. Week 10. What happened week 10? I don't know. It's just honestly like with week 10, the highest was 61, and then below that, like the second place was 46, and I ended with 29. It just had a couple of not so good picks there. Cleveland giving me 0. Well, then again, honestly, you needed to be on Pittsburgh and Tampa Bay to have a good week that week. That's what it was, and yeah. I don't think I was on. I was on Tampa Bay, but I didn't have Pittsburgh. I had Pittsburgh. I mean, Pittsburgh. They usually keep it relatively close. If last night's game was last night, the Wednesday night game was any indication of that, they kept it pretty close then as well. Like you never know when they're really gonna up the spread. But then week 11, oh my God, I picked the right games for the spreads. I was just on the wrong end of all of them. It was so bad.
Yeah, and the opposite happened for me. I had some very good picks on the right side of things, and I podiumed for the second time this season. How many podiums do you have, good sir?
I have as many. I have. I was trying to say I have as many wins over you as you do podiums.
Not quite
2,
but
no, yeah, I have 2 wins over you right now. You've podiumed twice. That's exactly right.
Okay.
Yes. The math is there. But yeah, Tennessee let me down, or Baltimore let me down against Tennessee. They really let me down there. Then, how did I get -10, like from a Dallas Minnesota game? Are you serious? Like,
well, it's because you picked Minnesota.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Dallas. Their track record this year, I thought that was a sure thing.
Have we not? Already gone over this. Minnesota is that toxic ex that you keep going back to thinking it's going to be different, and then you just get wrecked.
Now you say that, but the week before they did give me 3 points. Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I had them at least good once. I had Minnesota had a good spread
in week 1. Did you have Minnesota in week 1? Because I was on the opposite end of it when they decided.
I did not have them week 1.
Oh no, I had them week 1. That was where they lost to Green Bay. Yeah, they had one really good game that I think one of us ended up on.
There's the week 6 game where they played Atlanta and got me -20.5 points. That was that's a fun week.
Nothing but a toxic ex. Anyway, neither here nor there. But so going into week 12, so.
Oh, you know what? It was, even worse though. Hang on real quick. Week 8, Green Bay over Minnesota. I picked Green Bay, and Minnesota decided to play that game and give me -13 because I picked against them. There's no winning with this.
Exactly. All right. So getting back into my winning ways here.
Yes.
And podium. Winning and podium to second place for the second time this season, right? Which brings us into week 12. So I said, closing the gap. You lead by two weeks as far as wins are concerned, with 4 weeks left in the season. So still plenty of time to overtake you. Yeah, especially if you continue to pick like you did in week 12
and week 11. No,
and week 11.
My last 2 weeks were terrible. -41 and -30. I'm honestly surprised I still have positive 18 points for the entire season so far. These last 2 weeks, I don't know, me coming to Arizona I impaired my judgment or something. I don't know what it was.
Impaired your judgment, just like all the California voters coming to Arizona.
Oh my
and
God.
impairing our state. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Anyway, so you ended up on the Ash end of the Tennessee Indy game,
Yep.
um, which
And
I
you
took
were
the
on the
opposite. I was on the right side of that
opposite.
one.
You and I
Minnesota,
both fell victim to the Las Vegas game.
yeah, that was pretty awful. I did that that
No,
fell apart so quickly
you
for them.
don't expect it to be that bad at
Where
all.
it would never have been, except for there were multiple fumbles. Right, there were multiple fumbles.
I've never seen a fumble where the quarterback goes back for the throw, hits his own player with his elbow, and loses the ball. I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was a weird game to watch. But the fact that they just got destroyed by Atlanta was not fun.
Yeah, I almost managed to end up with 0 though. Like New Orleans brought it back, Tennessee, and then the other ones were
Speaking of Minnesota,
Hey, I was on Minnesota at home against the Carolina team that was actually they really didn't do anything on offense. They had 2 fumbles for touchdowns. If you take those away, like even if they're a 3 and out, you just take away the 2 touchdowns. That's a runaway game for Minnesota.
Wait. So you're telling me that if you change the points, you could win?
I'm not saying if you change the points, I'm saying if you take that having 2 fumble recoveries for
I know
touchdowns
what you mean.
are rare, and if you take those 2 occurrences out, which isn't something that you would normally expect, I'm saying that like Minnesota should run away with this game instead of playing from behind, right? Which changes the game scheme. That's what I'm saying.
It does change the game scheme when you're playing from behind or if you're in the lead for sure.
But either way, I ended
Yeah.
up less negative than
Yeah,
you did.
less than those Indianapolis and Vegas were my only 2 bad games. I was on New Orleans with you. I was on Seattle. That didn't give me many points, but it was still positive. In San Francisco, I made a good bet there. They won the game. They gave me more points than the spread. So I'm honestly not unhappy with the way that one turned out. I'm not even mad about Indianapolis that much. I thought they were a better team. They played Tennessee before. I thought they would be more in sync about who they're playing. Vegas was just a huge disappointment. I mean, this is the team that has beaten Kansas City once at the beginning of the season, and they have a winning record, and they lose to Atlanta, who had a garbage beginning of the season, but for some reason have started to come back and show that
They
they're not
fired
quite
their head coach.
Yeah,
That's why.
they're not quite the grounded Falcons that we thought they were.
Well, yeah, like once they got rid of the head coach, that seemed to have been one of their issues, right?
And the GM too. And I think Detroit just did that this past week too.
Yep, Detroit did that this past week. So does that mean you're on Detroit? Let's find out.
I actually don't think did that one have a spread yet, or are they on a bye? Because I know Tampa Bay's on a bye this next week.
Detroit has a spread because I picked it.
Oh, yeah, but wait! You have to go back. We didn't discuss Colin Cowherd.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, after our last week, I had done like all the research on his picks, so that way we could see where he was compared to us. And I'm so disappointed that I didn't get to tell like where he was at the end of week 9. At the end of week 9, as a total, was at negative 57.5. Sorry, just negative 57. There's no half, just negative 57.
Okay, yeah. That's important. The half point is important.
It is important. Week 10, I believe he did better than both of us. Me with you at like 17, me at 29. He was at 38 as a total. Week 11, he followed suit with me a lot and went negative 20. Not exactly negative 41 like me, but and then came back in week 12 with a positive 16. And so he, overall came back a little bit and is now at negative 23 for the season as far as cover 5 goes.
All right, so we are actually both ahead of him on the season because I'm only at minus 2 points on the season.
Yeah, you're at minus 2. I'm at 18.
Yeah. So for now,
for now,
there is still time. If he has some big
still
weeks,
4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks left.
Can come back as far as point wise.
Oh, and in fantasy football news, you and I both have clinched a spot in our playoffs for the last 4 weeks of the season.
I was going to save that for big news of the week, but we can.
I'm sorry. We'll go more into it later.
So spoiler, we'll go into big news of the week. All right, let's get into week 13. I'm going to start since I have back-to-back weeks and the latest podium.
Yes. Well, the only podium. I'll say it.
Yes.
I'm not ashamed. I should be. I'm not.
I mean, I've seen what you and DJ Powerbottom do.
You're making a reference to something I don't know about, so just please tell us your picks. I feel like you're trying.
Matt's nickname is DJ Powerbottom as a part of the.
Anyone that watches our Cover 5 stuff only does not know who Matt is. All right, go ahead.
That's true because he's only on he guest appearances on Torture Trivia, and
yes,
as DJ Powerbottom.
That's never been a thing said on the show. You're reaching for something that's not there, and it's a little pathetic. You're trying. I know you're trying, but you're insulting someone that's not even here to defend himself, who owned you in a text. We all saw it.
No.
Yes, he did.
Just because he's your lover does not mean that he owned me in any way, shape,
we're related.
or form.
Stop being jealous. Tell us your picks.
Whatever. Anyway, so going with Las Vegas to bounce back against the New Jersey Jets. Las Vegas is just the better team. We'll just say that.
Yeah, but like, how do you pick that game after what they've been doing lately? Like, their past 2 weeks haven't been great. And the Jets have been pretty good. I mean, like, playing against the Patriots, they who the Las Vegas lost to in the beginning of the season, Jets only lost the Patriots by like 3 points. They're an 0-11 team, but are they worth that kind of spread?
Yeah, listen, I think this is a bounce back game for Vegas. I think that they're going to come in, and they're going to want to boost morale, and they're going to do that by whooping up on the last team in the league. That's just really what it is. Taking Indy at Houston. Houston has just become a one-dimensional team. They really have no run game. They're losing Will Fuller because of his performance-enhancing drug habits. And Indy should be getting back some of their injuries. They had some injuries in this last week in that last game. I believe it was on defense. I don't remember if there was any on offense. But that really is what I think was one of the key factors of Tennessee really taking that game. So taking Indy to bounce back against Houston, being able to stop Deshaun Watson and their pass attack. So looking at Detroit at Chicago, this is more or less this is really two factors here. It's a bet against Chicago because Chicago can't seem to get their ish together, and two, like you said earlier, they fired Matt Patricia and the GM. So trending, if we're talking about trends, teams that fire their head coach and or GM or some of their combination thereof typically perform in the next outing. So that's what I'm banking on there. New Orleans, I expect Atlanta to get back to doing Atlanta things, and New Orleans is definitely a better team than Las Vegas. They definitely have their stuff together. And Taysom Hill he's been looking good. There was no significant drop off from as far as like performance wise between him and Drew Brees. They are different quarterbacks, different styles, put up different stats. But as far as like team performance with Drew Brees out of the picture and Taysom Hill under center, there has not been that production drop off or a significant production drop off. So I expect them to continue. And you're looking at Todd Gurley's going to be out for Atlanta again. So they have no real run game with Ito Smith or Brian Hill. And Julio Jones, the hamstring, is probably going to be out again too. So
I mean, them being out last week against Las Vegas had nothing that it didn't show.
Yeah, but Las Vegas had a lot of mistakes, had a lot of turnovers.
Yeah,
right?
Well, if I had to say anything, I would say that New Orleans defense is better than Las Vegas.
Yeah. You're not going to get the same mistakes out of the offense of New Orleans as that Las Vegas committed.
Honestly, I might change one of my picks for that one, to be completely honest with you, because I do like that game. I do like that matchup.
And then last but not least, Green Bay at home against Philly. Philly sucks. Is really what it is. Philly sucks. What was it? I think doesn't Carson Wentz like the only like record he has on the season is number of like times he's been sacked or hit in the backfield or something like that. He has some like
this year. Yeah, this year I think you're correct.
Yeah, for this season. So I expect Green Bay's defense to be all up on Prince Harry's stunt double, Carson Wentz, and then and Aaron Rodgers with a healthy Devonta Adams. Both Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones are healthy. Like they have a super solid run game that they're gonna be able to punish Philly. I just don't. I see Green Bay really taking this one to get to continue to trend up heading into the playoffs here in the next few weeks.
All right. I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I think he's still questionable. Tennessee over Cleveland. I mean, Tennessee is a force to be reckoned with. We've seen it. I don't think Cleveland is as good a team as Indianapolis is. I'm really hoping that going home. I actually don't know where they played last week, but being in Tennessee can make a good point spread against Cleveland. Cleveland doesn't have the firepower, I think, to take down Tennessee. I took Cincinnati over Miami just because of the point spread. I do not think that Miami can cover that. Miami's a good team. I think Fitzmagic is coming back for another week. Because I think what's his name? I'm not even going to try it.
Tua.
I think
I had it. It's Tua. We'll just go with Tua. I almost had it, and I apologize, good sir.
I think he's still out. So I don't know if they win this game, but if they do win it, it's an easy 11 points. I'd be more than happy to take it. And if they do win by a good margin, because I think they're where is Cincinnati in their ranking right now? I don't know. They're 2-8. They may just try to get the win just so that way they can have a better record in their division. They're definitely not making the playoffs, but I don't see them giving up quite yet. And there's still 4 games to go in their regular season. Indianapolis versus Houston, I agree with you with everything you said earlier. I'm not going to go back into it. Rams in Arizona. I'm honestly just surprised that the Arizona is the underdog. The Rams are getting better, but I think Arizona can easily pull off a win here. It depends on how they handle their defense. I don't remember if Peterson went out. I have a weird feeling that he did or not. I have to double check it and see if I'll switch this one. And then New England versus Chargers there. Actually, I think I picked Chargers because I thought Newton was out. So this one may be the one I switched for the Saints there. New England. So as of right now, Newton is still questionable. So I guess kind of depending on – Chargers have a great offense. They do. It's just I don't know how their defense is going to handle New England. New England is a tough team. So, yeah, that might be the one that I switch out. And we're missing like 3 other spreads too, although I don't think I'm going to pick Minnesota, which is one of the ones that we were missing.
Who's Minnesota playing?
I'm looking right now, week 13, and hey, look at that! It didn't sign me out. They are playing Jacksonville. This was why I was thinking about that game. And the other ones we're missing are Pittsburgh versus Washington, which I was thinking about picking, and then Baltimore and Dallas, which I will not be picking.
Yeah, no, that seems like a trap game. The Minnesota and Jacksonville, that seems like a trap game to me.
It does. I mean, depending on if the spread was big, I might even take Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'll look at that. I don't think I'm really looking to change any of my picks.
Las Vegas Las Vegas is probably the only one that I'm kind of on the fence about, but like I really do feel like they should be able to bounce back on this one. But
They should. It's just that from what I've seen, Jets do have some high scoring potential. It's just that I guess, and Las Vegas's defense, I'm not sure.
yeah, their defense is definitely has to make sure that they get it together. So depending upon we're missing at least for cover 5, not necessarily in Vegas or on the online sports books, but for cover 5, we're missing the Jacksonville, Minnesota spread. What were the other ones?
Pittsburgh and Washington, and then Dallas and Baltimore.
Ooh,
which is a Tuesday game, which is weird. Like they've just scheduled a Tuesday game. Usually when it's a Tuesday, Wednesday games because they keep pushing it back because of COVID reasons. And I think, well, I mean, I guess you could say it's a Tuesday game because they pushed the Steelers-Ravens game until Wednesday. So, of course, they don't want a game tonight, which is Thursday. So they may have just pushed one to Tuesday for that reason. I guess it could still be considered COVID.
Well, yeah, it's Baltimore, right? Like, yeah, it's because it's Baltimore's game, right? So, yeah, right. So that makes sense.
Well, so yeah,
and then they moved Pittsburgh game to Monday, from Sunday to Monday.
Oh, is that the one that moved to? I saw that there was 2 on Monday. I wasn't sure if Steelers were already.
Well, we could get into that into our big news of the week. Are we? Oh. So are we good on week 12 or no? Sorry, week 13 picks.
Yeah, we finished.
All right, cool. So then, big news of the week.
If you weren't already listening.
So. Yeah.
Honestly, my favorite news as of right now, the fact that we have this cover 5 thing going, we are still pretty close in wins and losses. 2 games is still relatively close, but in a fantasy football terms, I've been putting on as the league as commissioner for 4 years now.
No, we've been in the league for 4 years. I don't think you've been commissioner for 4 years because I started off as commissioner.
Okay, well then the last 3 years at least, I've been the one putting it on, because our father. Well, actually, even bigger news. Our father won the first one, I won the second, and then you won last year. Yeah, I don't even know who won the very first one. So as long as I've been commissioner, the family's won.
I think because I had some coworkers that were in our league that filled in. I think that no, Mike won. Mike won.
Did he won the first one?
The first one, and then one of my coworkers took like second or third, and then I forgot who the other one was in the mix. Was it one of your friends?
Oh, for the year that I won?
First year.
Well, I know last year one of my friends got third. Mm-hmm. Because you and Mike got second, or Mike got second last year, and he almost won, which is so weird because the year that I won, I kept referring to him as the bye week because terrible.
Yeah, he had an awful draft that season.
Well, the guy that won second last year had an awful draft this year, not because it was bad, but because every player he picked got hurt like week 1 or 2. Like it wasn't his fault. He had Barkley who went out week 1, and he picked up. When I played him, he had picked up Joe Burrow, and he got hurt in the third quarter.
Out for the season, ACL, MCL tear.
Yeah, like everyone he picks up just gets hurt, and he just gets I feel a little bad. Not bad enough, but just a little bit. But you and I, what I was getting at in the first place was you and I are close. In cover 5 in fantasy football this year, you and I have a tied record.
We do. And that's because I have Christian McCaffrey, who played for the first 2 or 3 weeks, then went out for 6 weeks, played a week, and then went out again for 2 or 3, for 2 or 3 weeks.
You've also made some substitutions, and you made a trade and got Devontae Adams halfway through the season.
Yeah, I did get Devontae Adams. Not quite halfway, a little over halfway. I think I got him in week 9.
It was maybe it was a little over halfway. But actually, what I'm curious about now that I think about it, since you and I, so normally with when it comes to fantasy, when it comes to ties, if say you and I were 4th and 5th, who would go to the playoffs? Usually it's total points overall, right?
Yeah.
So as of right now, if that's not how ours is structured, that's just one way. As of right now, you have me by 3 points overall.
You mean as far as total points scored?
Total points scored. We got 3 overall. Honestly, I lucked out this season. And the reason why I say this is because as a total points against, I have the lowest.
Yeah. So then,
my matchups have been on point. I'm the lowest by over 100 points.
Oh geez, yeah. Well, that's almost a full week. That's a full opponent.
It's 80. It's 80. It was almost 100 points by 80 points, but that's still a full week with some of the people in our league.
Yeah, and of course you have the easy matchup this week too, between the two of us to see who, because we're fighting. You and I, even though we clinched the playoffs, you and I are fighting for second seed.
Now. Pretty much. Yeah, who's gonna play? Actually, it doesn't really matter either because second and third seed play each other. So no matter what, you and I play each other. Fourth seed plays your aunt, who's in first place in our league so far.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter then. I was thinking for some reason I was thinking that
first and second would play, and third and fourth would play. Yeah.
No. I wasn't thinking that first and second would play. For some reason I was thinking that if I would somehow drop to fourth to the fourth seed.
No. There's no way either one of us makes fourth seed, because as of the standings right now, we're both 8-4, and the next person below us is 6-6. So even if you lost this weekend, the people below us won, we would be 8, or we'd be 8-5, and they would be 7-6. So
okay, yeah. So I guess we play each other in the first round of the playoffs, no matter what.
Which is just all kinds of fun. Like, what are the odds of all this happening?
I mean, I'm just happy because when we play each other in the playoffs, I will have Christian McCaffrey back.
Yeah, well, there's 2 full weeks of we're playing 2-week intervals, so we'll see how it goes and see how his matchups are.
I'm just going to be glad to have Christian McCaffrey back.
Depending on the matchups, I have Jacobs and Cook. They're both top 5 running backs for the season as far as points goes. Even though last week was a bit of a hiccup for both of them, which what the hell? They both have had plus 30-point games themselves. So again, this depends on their matchup, depends on how they're feeling, depends on how we're getting closer to the end of the season, so they may be trying to get that spot to get into the playoffs.
I'm just glad that
both teams have potential.
Yeah, I'm just glad that who are they playing? Because obviously Minnesota
my players,
plays
your players.
You talk about Cook and Jacobs.
All right, well, hang on.
Because Cook plays Jacksonville this week, and that would be if you. But you're not playing. I'm just saying that's a matchup that I would be worried about because if you were playing me, that has the potential for him to just go off.
The weeks I play you, Cook plays Tampa Bay and Chicago.
Okay, this is two good defenses.
But it's also a divisional game, so he could play a little harder. And then if he plays, Jacobs will play Indianapolis and Chargers. And if Derrick Henry is any indication of how he plays against Indianapolis,
Josh Jacobs and Derrick Henry are 2 completely different running backs. Like they are not the same style. They do not run the same schemes.
So last time Jacobs played the Chargers, he still got a good 12 points out of them.
All right, so we got some good matchups.
But again, like as always, they're always they've been questionable throughout the entire year. So we'll see. And last time Cook played Chicago, it was 11 points, and when Cook played Indianapolis, he got 15. Yeah, so it's like the double-digit points should be expected, is what I should say. Like you should, with any player, your whole point of drafting them is you're hoping that they're going to get you at least double-digit points. That's a minimum you want for anyone who's starting.
Oh, you mean like not 3 points? Like some of my running backs did this.
Dude, don't even like the week I played your aunt and could possibly be first in my division as far as our fantasy goes. I had Brady and somebody else, and I needed like 14 points between the 2 of them. And it was the week they played the Saints where they got owned, just absolutely owned. Like I should have had that week. And I was so mad.
That was so good because not only did the Saints knock you out of a podium spot for cover 5, they also torched you in fantasy.
Yes. So it was so bad. Anyway, that was a bad week for me.
So now we're talking about now other big news, actual league news. We talked about Matt Patricia being fired as the and the Detroit GM, both let go. Right, we were both fired. Somebody else get fired this week?
Not that I'm recalling at the moment. Maybe.
Just them. We had both Tuesday and we had Tuesday and Wednesday football, or no, just Wednesday night. Wednesday.
No, the Steelers were supposed to play Thanksgiving. They got pushed to Sunday. Then they got pushed to they got pushed to Tuesday, but then they got pushed to Wednesday.
So we had Thursday afternoon football. It was like a blue plate special. I don't even know if anybody. Well, actually, no. They said
you said Thursday,
Wednesday
afternoon.
Wednesday afternoon football, whatever.
Yeah, Wednesday afternoon football.
Wednesday afternoon football. Either way, but apparently they had some pretty good viewership. But it's probably because there's a shit ton of unemployed people, and nothing better to do but watch.
I mean, I was listening to it on my app while I was working. Like I wasn't gonna miss the game.
I was busy. I was doing things. I was being productive.
I was being productive too. I was multitasking even.
But so we had that where the league coddled the Baltimore Ravens just to have them lose anyway. They absolutely just gave the finger to the Broncos. After every one of their quarterbacks tested positive for COVID, they didn't move their game. They just said they were going to play.
Yeah, and they still brought up somebody. And didn't one of us, I think either you or I, picked the Broncos in that week, or picked against the Broncos?
That was week 12. They played New Orleans. We both picked New Orleans this last week.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was okay. That was the one. Yeah, we got like 22 points off of it. Yeah, we all knew we were picking that game.
Oh man. Let's see. What else? Who else? Well,
we talked about Joe Burrow earlier. Just reading random headlines here says that Joe Burrow his surgery was successful. Wide receiver for the Seahawks, Gordon, is coming back after being suspended. I saw another one that was pretty good. Steelers, Dupree suffered an ACL tear. Which too bad. Oh, that's some good news too. 11-0.
Whatever.
Still 11-0. It's a weird season, but I'll take it. I mean, Jets are 0-11 still. Like we still have Owens. We have to talk about it. We still have Owens.
That's true. That is true. What's the rest of the Jets' schedule look like? Because I'm curious if they're gonna because they pretty much have the first overall pick of the draft locked up, right? At this particular rate, I don't think that anybody can overtake them, even if they win out, right?
So we got 5 games left in the season. 4. So including this week.
No, 5. You're right. So 13, 14.
Well, because I'm counting 5 games here, so I was assuming it was still 5.
So I mean, actually, I have.
Well, so they play. This is a rough. I don't know if they get a win. Well, they got close against. I think they have 2 chances to get a win, and they play the Raiders, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Browns, and then the Pats. So now, if Donald comes back, I don't know how much that changes their game, but they almost beat the Patriots. They lost by a field goal. The Browns, I think when they played, it was a 3-0 game. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure that was them.
No, it was like 9-6. It was nothing but field goals, I think, or something like that.
You know what? I may be mistaken too. Is that not them? It happened I know it happened to the Browns. It may not have been the.
Whatever. Yeah.
It was,
I'm trying to think that the only Yeah, maybe they take the Pats at the end if the Pats have a chance at if the Pats make the playoffs if they rest people.
I'm still checking about which game this was I'm thinking of because it was like a really low scoring game. But you know what? I think it might have been the Texan game I was thinking of when it was 10-7. Because the only other one that was close to that is the Raiders beat the Browns when it was 16-6. So yeah, I was completely mistaken. I don't know why I thought it was the Jets. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's understandable why I thought it was the Jets, but still. Anyway.
So yeah, they might actually have a complete Owen season, but I think down the stretch they might take the Pats at the end if the Pats are resting people, right? Maybe the Seahawks if the Seahawks clinch. If the Seahawks clinch the division, then they might rest some people because like they have some injury prone players like Chris Carson, right?
Right. So I don't know if it also depends on if they want to stick with the first seed, but I think they're in the no, they're in the same division as the Saints, and Saints are a game up on them. God, your division is still terrible.
Oh yeah, the NFC East is trash. It's such trash.
The highest is 4-7, and it's tied between Giants and Washington.
Yeah, the footballs, the footballs of all, and then the Giants who couldn't manage to beat Cincinnati without Joe Burrow.
So Seahawks, if they still want the first seed for their it's not still division. Is that still the division? Yeah.
It's division.
Their conference is what I was looking for. So if they want the first seed for the conference, they're only a game behind the Saints, but they're also fighting with the Packers, who are also a game behind. And of course, Steelers are 11-0, and Chiefs are 10-1, so they could still be fighting. Browns may or may not try to let up on them because they're 8-3 in their division, so they're still trying to hold on to a wild card spot.
Yeah, they're playing for a wild card spot, so I don't see that happening because you're looking at.
I don't see them trying to lose. I mean,
Steelers are going to take the AFC North, right?
Right.
So yeah, which is where the Browns are there. And the Browns are fighting with Baltimore for a wild card spot, right?
It's not really much of a fight at the moment. I mean, they're ahead by 2 games.
Really?
Right. Ravens are 6-5. Browns are 8-3.
And nobody cares. And really, nobody cares.
I thought it was closer.
Yeah.
So,
so the Browns
how
actually
are the Cowboys doing? Oh, never mind.
Our season was over when we lost Dak.
Yeah, seriously.
It was done because I take that back.
What week did he go out though?
5, probably.
Yeah. I'll say, even still, like they only have 3 wins.
Yeah, but they were 3-2, or no, they were like 2-3. They were like 2-3. Yeah, they were 2-3, and then he went out. But we were getting into a portion of the schedule where we should be able to get some wins, and like the problem was I don't know what happened to Andy Dalton. I think Andy Dalton's a good quarterback. Like, I don't think there should have been that much of a drop off as far as like talent wise.
He had one good year in I know it's Bengals. I was blanking on Cincinnati there for a second, but I don't remember him being that impressive. Afterwards.
He was solid. Like I said, he was solid. Like he put up regular numbers that were good, and he was consistent. And that's all the Cowboys really needed. Like they needed somebody that was going to put up consistent numbers week in and week out, and that's really what it was. We weren't going to make a Super Bowl run on a backup, But
I mean, the Eagles did it.
Towards the end, like they'd already won quite a few games though. Like Carson Wentz didn't go out until like deeper into the season. I thought.
Was it? I thought Foles played most of that season. Because I remember thinking it was weird. Like, how do you trade out a quarterback that got you to the Super Bowl with the guy that has been injured all year just to lose the first game?
Yeah,
but I was upset about it. I'm not even an Eagles fan.
That's par for the course for the.
I mean, if I was Foles, I hope he put up a fight to play in that game because he did work for it. I know he did.
Yeah, and then he got his shot again in Chicago and couldn't do it. He seems like he's just the consummate backup. Like he's gonna have a long career as a backup quarterback that can be plugged in on any given week, on any given time to like, and potentially win a game, but he's not a quarterback that's going to carry a team.
The Tyrod Taylor story.
Hopefully,
if anyone wants to give me crap for that, look it up on YouTube. they'll tell you the story better than I will. I think I even mentioned it earlier in this season to look up this video. There's a whole story about his career that it makes you feel a little bad for the guy. The guy could have been good, but he's always just overstepped by somebody.
Yeah, it happens. And it happened again. that doctor that punctured his lung knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, was it Herbert's like great grandfather or something like that? He's gonna play.
Oh, all right. I think that's it for news and shenanigans for this week.
Yeah.
Week 13. No Thursday night football because we had Wednesday afternoon football. So we resume on Sunday.
And I will be going to Reno to watch the games with the guy that I'm playing this week. Should be a good time. Who are you playing this week?
Pete? Am I playing Pete this week?
Yeah, you don't even know. I got to look it up for you, don't I?
Yeah, I don't remember.
You know, I don't even think the matchups have updated yet. This makes this a little harder. Week 13. Here we go. You are, Grand Effect. You are playing Pete.
Yep, I play Pete, and he got me last time, so I need to win and split the victory. Need the win to split the victory.
Yeah, no, that's why I was happy to beat Mike last week because he had me last time by 2 points. So mad. 2 points. And I was waiting on Lutz too. I needed it to be a kicking game, and I needed like 15 points out of Lutz, and he got me 13. Like, and I remember talking to Mike afterwards. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't even watch that game." I was like, "Yeah, I got this in the bag," and he checked it in the fourth quarter. He's like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Come on, go to overtime, and and he kick it in, and I got the win." And anyway.
All right, it's time to get out of here.
Yeah, let's do it. All right, there it is. We are on Facebook at the Bald and Beardiful. Come find us. I post our videos. If you would like to email us, you can email us at theballandbeardiful@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We keep sending each other, back and forth emails just to make it feel useful. If you like this video, hit the like button. We'd love it. It's that little thumbs up that's down there. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't. You'll get notified every time we put out a new video. Am I missing anything, Chris?
Comments, like, subscribe, put some comments on there. Give us something to talk about. Ask questions, post side remarks, whatever. Make fun of Bryce for losing back-to-back and still haven't had a podium for the season.
How about the guy that has 2 podiums and is still losing currently? No? Nothing there?
It's a moral victory as far as I'm concerned.
Share this video with your friends. Get us some views so that way we can get popular enough to get some sponsorship and possibly even get some merch together.
Yes. Bald and Beardiful merch. Like, subscribe. Send us, we accept PayPal, Venmo. I'll even accept Zeal. Just let me know. You can Zeal me to help us get some merch going. Anyway, until next week, same bald time, same Beardiful channel.
Bye, everybody.